Hello. So I just want to say something really quickly. And I'm looking at how this so-called world is, and I'm going to say this. I did see that it's a barren land, meaning that most people are really gone, even though with our matrix eyes we think we see people walking around, but really the land is barren and there's really nobody here. Literally, like I said before in another upload, I saw like a barren land, like a land that was just completely barren. And then I just saw like a billboard up, and it just looked like no life was there, like literally no life. Okay, now that doesn't mean that everybody's gone, but they all spread out. They're all spread out. So actually, the population control is already taking place. I think people believe population control is actually witnessing or hearing about a bunch of physical deaths. Okay. But really, there doesn't have to be physical death, because the physical death is an illusion anyway, because the physical world is an illusion. So there's no such thing as a physical death. That's just what we've been programmed to believe, because we're in a physical type of rule set within this matrix, okay? But there's no such thing as a physical death, because the physical reality is an illusion. There's no such thing as physical. We are kind of, most of us operate out of our ego, which means that we just go by five senses most of the time: touch, feel, and taste, and smell, and sight, and all that stuff. And just those basic senses that we've been using since we were born. And most of us don't use other advanced type of senses that we can that can have us more of an advanced being outside of a limited physical reality. So because most of us aren't doing that because of life responsibilities, then most of us believe that everything is physical, but it's really the mind that's actually kind of stuck in the root chakra. Okay, it's really the mind that is unevolved. It's really the mind. It's really low consciousness, honestly. And this is not an insult, because I say that, like I said earlier, most of us are bogged down with responsibilities and worry, and money is a big part of it. Money keeps everybody from evolving like they should. Most people. And if somebody is rich and they have time, they have free time to themselves, and they have not evolved, then I don't know. Maybe they just love the material world so much, because I don't know, you rich and you got all this, you can have all this free time on your hand, but then you never know what they have going on, because then there's other parts of life too that can keep you stuck in the material world. It's not always about money. So somebody can have money, but then have children to raise and worry about school and college, and so it's always something. Or you could be married to somebody who's kind of unevolved, even though you might be evolving yourself, but you might have a spouse that's unevolved, and so now you with them, and they kind of bringing you down, and you stand in the marriage or relationship. But anyway, to get to the point, this is what I want to say, though. So I started off talking about this barren land, and I went there with all the other explanations, because people are thinking they seeing physical people, but really what we're seeing, in my opinion, I'm looking at a computer program. And I'm looking at a bunch of avatars, and I'm looking at what appear to be people. I mean, I'm just only looking at avatars. My body, myself, is an avatar. But everything feels real when you stuck in your five senses most of the day. Then this is always going to feel real to you until we find enough time to advance ourselves. This will always be real to us. This low state of mind, which is the physical world, the ego world, is a low state of mind. It's low consciousness, but most of us are going to be stuck in it until we get the time to work on ourselves. And when I'm talking about working on ourselves, I'm not just talking about something, okay, I meditated for an hour. Okay, now I go back to listening to whatever. No, it's not about a task. It's about advancing as a being, a human being. Because what's happening now is that humans have taken too long to advance themselves, and now humans are being replaced with machines. But the thing is that you're not going to see a bunch of machines like you saw on iRobot. People are going to become the machines. That's why I saw a barren land, okay? It's not that you're going to see a bunch of little Sophias going around like what you see They're not going to spend that kind of money to create them. What they're going to do is they're going to create a COVID-19, and they're going to tell you to put on your face mask for I don't know how many years, and they're going to tell you need to take this thing right here to protect yourself from all of these variants, and they're going to tell you to do that. And that's how you're going to become whatever they want you to become. And that's actually population control, because it's actually killing. Well, I don't know. What I know is what they want to do, because I don't have nothing to say about whatever they telling you to put in your body. I'm not going to speak on it. But what I will say is they're not going to spend all this kind of money on a bunch of machines. They're going to use what used to look like people. The people are going to become the robots. Okay? And a lot of people we see are already robots, even if they appear to be very intelligent. They still could be a robot. AI, Sophia is smart. Sophia is very smart. So, I mean, you can see very intelligent people that know how to take apart a computer, and they can still be a robot, and they look like a human being in front of you. That's the population control. And with that, I want to say this. That's why I saw barren land. Because when you see barren, that means there's no soul and no spirit left. That's barren. Not that there's no physical people around, because ain't no such thing as physical. Okay, you look with your mind eye and you see what's really there. It's barren because there's no more soul and there's no more spirit left. It's gone. That's why it was barren. But now I want to say this real quickly. You know, enough is enough. I've been tired of it, but I'm being pushed to really, really work hard enough to on myself. And I'm being pushed in that direction to work on evolving, you know. But I'm going to say this, though. What I will say is this. Most of the audience that is listening, which could be brown women, most of us, I'm going to say probably good 95 to 99% of the people who will listen to this audio, which might be brown women, you don't have a reason to hold on to this matrix anymore. This matrix has been very ugly to a lot of brown women, especially in the Western world. And I'm just going to say in the Western world, but to be quite honest with you, in other parts of the world, these entities take their butt to areas where mostly there's dark-skinned people, like Ghana, like other parts of Africa, and other areas where there's a lot of dark-skinned people. And sure enough, you might not experience the kind of whatever what you're experiencing in the United States of America, but then there's something going on over there too. Because here's the thing, it seems to be at this point in time, it's about a lot of political power, and money is power. Okay? And so even in those areas that's populated by a lot of brown people, what kind of power do they have? What kind of military do they have? What kind of money do they have? What kind of resources do they have? All their resources are constantly being taken. They're constantly being raped. So it's like, okay, they have no power. Okay? So what do you do in that area too? So it's almost like this matrix is no longer working for a certain group of people. We already know that it's going to be hard for a lot of brown people to get jobs. They're being replaced by Asians and Hispanics. But when I say Asians and Hispanics, I'm talking about certain Hispanics, because we know that Mexicans, Hispanics, there's a lot of dark-skinned Mexicans. When people go to like areas like, even like Central America, like Brazil, when people actually visit Brazil, it's different than what's shown on commercials and TV and mainstream TV. They go there and most of the people are dark-skinned. I witnessed that when I went to India. When I went to South India, majority of the people, I'm a brown-skinned woman, and majority of the people was my complexion or darker. That's what I witnessed in South India. But when you look at mainstream media, it makes it seem like they're all light-skinned. But really, when I went to South India, most of them was my complexion or darker. Okay? So, but anyway, this matrix is not too kind to certain people. And especially the brown people in America. certain brown people in America, I'm going to say certain brown people in America, United States of America, this particular matrix is very nasty. It's very, very nasty. It's very cruel. You can work your butt off and people treat you like trash. You can do everything possible. People talk to you like you some slut, like you some baby mama that got 15 kids, but you never been pregnant a day in your life. But because that's the stereotype of a certain group of women, then they're going to put that on you whether you got 6 degrees and don't have children. They're going to put that stereotype on you because that's the stereotype mainstream media. And I'm saying mainstream media. We can talk about the brown men all day long, but the mainstream media helps to promote it. Because if mainstream media didn't want it to be put out there, they would know how to shut down those voices if they wanted to. So mainstream media wants to portray a certain group of certain types of women in the United States of America as just being a baby mama and being lazy and always wearing some kind of that thing on their head with house shoes on, knowing goodness well most of the brown women that I see. I'm in Yucca Valley. I've been in Los Angeles. I've been all over Palm Desert, Palm Springs. Most of the time when I see brown ladies, I never have seen, I might see one. If I get lucky, I'll see one with some house shoes on. But for the most part, I have never, hardly, even in like Crenshaw in South Central, I used to live in Inglewood for 5 years. And it's very rare, no matter how ghetto they look and how they supposed to look growing up in Crenshaw. How would they be expected to look growing up in Watson, Crenshaw, in that kind of environment, and that's how people look over there, then that's how they gonna look. But I just rarely, even in those areas, see them wearing house shoes and bonnets on their head. Even if their weave is messed up, they got their weave out, they got on regular clothes. But see, the mainstream media wants it like that thing what Monique did, I think, when she was in Jacksonville, Mississippi. And so they want to make it seem like just brown women all over just look like that. And what I'm saying is, I don't want to get stuck on this stuff right here because I don't want that to make nobody angry. At this point, there's no need in letting this stuff pull you down. So I'm not saying that to want to put you in a low vibration to pull you down and like, yeah. No, I don't want to do that. That's not the point. The point is that, I'm going to say it. If you got the money to take a day to yourself, I suggest this. You don't have to do it, but I suggest it. If you got the money and you don't have a bunch of kids to be taken care of, and you ain't got to worry about a bunch of family members all in your face every day, I highly suggest everybody that's listening to this, even if you're a brown male or a white male or whoever you are, because with brown men, they do that. They make sure that they do everything to make them look bad too. But see, it's a division. Unfortunately, it's a division. But I don't have nothing against brown men, brown women. I don't really care about that. The reason why I learned not to just go in and judge people as a whole is because, number one, I understand there's different dimensions and possibilities. That's number one. That's what I understand. That's what I understand. And so when I'm looking at avatars, then maybe, the thing is to get to the right dimension and the right reality, the right parallel world where more loving people might exist, where that consciousness is. Right now, we're under, most of us are in a parallel world, in a reality where there's straight tyranny and where a lot of brown people are just treated horribly. A lot of brown people are treated horribly, especially in the western part of the world. Brown people are treated like trash. And what I'm saying I'm just kind of speaking to brown women because only because I know that's most of the people that's going to be listening. Not for no other reason. It's just because I know that's most of the people that's going to be listening. And what I got to say is that this world, this matrix, it's just been too ugly to you. It's been too ugly. At this point, we brown women, I'm saying brown, we don't need to give this matrix any more energy than it needs. We already got to give it energy because we got to make sure we pay our bills. So we already got to pay a certain amount of attention to it. But other than that, I highly suggest 1 to 2 days out the week, if you can, to completely get out the matrix. completely get out the matrix. What I say, that means no, like no TV, definitely no radio. I mean, it might be stuff that you like, that came on, but I'm saying, like, take a day. You know how people used to take a day of fasting? But what good is fasting? Or go one day without food? Well, what good is going one day without food when you're taking a bunch of trash in your head? So, okay, I go one day without food. I'd rather eat a burger than to listen to the music that's on radio all day. I'd rather eat a burger than to look at some blogs all day talking about celebrities all day and what the crap that celebrities doing when celebrities ain't doing nothing but a bunch of witchcraft on you. I'd rather eat a burger, right? So what good is it to go one day without food and do one day of fasting, but then you're looking at trash all day? So you taking in trash in your eye gate and your ear gate and all that stuff, but you went without food though. But I'm not gonna criticize that. That sometimes with tradition, a lot of times we think that just going without food means that we do some kind of spiritual or something. But then we're taking trash when we look at the television. Oh, the worst thing to look at is the news. Oh, the news is worse than the blogs. The news is worse than the radio. At least on the radio, they talking. They talking about trash. You can hear it in the lyrics. But see, the news. Mainstream media wants you to believe like the news is the most important thing in the world to listen to. So that's actually the worst thing you can do is look at news all day. That's the worst. That's the most trash you can take in right there. But I mean, I'm not saying not to look at it ever. Yeah. So, but what? Just take one day to give the matrix, to not give the matrix so much of your attention, I'll say. Not give it so much of your attention. You're going to give it some attention. When you wake up, you're going to be looking through matrix eyes. You're probably going to go get something to eat. You're probably going to go cook. You're probably going to go to the store. So, I mean, you're probably going to be doing some of that. But for the most part, what I'm saying is like how you fast on food all day. Well, I think it's a good idea to fast on media. To give media a break. And I'm talking about this type of negative type of media where it's not really uplifting type of media. That kind of media, give it a break. Because some media is good for you. Some media actually helps heal people. So I don't mean like just don't give media any attention at all. But like a lot of the negative aspects of anything that don't uplift you, just fast on it, And what it does is it's not about hurting anybody's pockets. Well, like if you don't go to the movies, if you don't watch TV, if you don't, you might say to yourself, well, that person is still going to be making money anyway. Okay, so, because people are just learning to look at money. It's not about looking at money. It's about consciousness. You take your mind. You get a good number of people, especially brown women, take their mind off of the negative aspects of media. Just take themselves out the matrix for 1 or 2 days out the week. And maybe if you'd even decide to sit home all day besides just going somewhere for 30 minutes. And most of the time you're sitting at home and you're mostly working on yourself and you're trying to really get to know your inner self and stuff like that. And you just take a whole day to not look at a lot of media unless it's something that's helping you bring yourself closer to your true self. But other than that, not really listening to radio and all that stuff. You take a whole day, maybe 2 days out the week, and if most brown women do that, just at least 2 days out the week, that would pretty much mess up this system. Because it's about consciousness. It's not about some money going in somebody's pocket. So I want to get out the root chakra there when it's like, well, if we don't look at it, well, then they still going to make their money. See, I want to get out the root chakra. That's root chakra kind of thinking right there. That's materialism kind of thinking. This is not about materialism and how much money somebody else going to get. I don't care if I don't look at a show and they still make $1 billion. I don't really care what's in their pockets. It's not about that. If 75% of brown women can take 2 days out the week, it's better that you eat some chicken. But see what it is, people like to go without eating, but then they keep listening to the radio and looking at TV, and that's where the Matrix get their power from. When there's too much attention given into their negative media, that's where they get their power. I mean, go and get yourself some Burger King. Shoot, well, Burger King might be like, go get you some Ruby Tuesdays. Because you really power the Matrix by looking at all this media. That's how and giving your attention to it. And they doing all this black magic on you and spell work with your mind while you got your attention on it. That's where their power is coming from, not by you eating some chicken. Now, you might not like to eat meat. That's fine. That's a personal preference. I'm just like using an example. I don't care about if you want to eat chicken or not. I don't want to be like picky like that. Okay. You might be vegan. That's fine. I'm not really getting on a diet. I'm making a point is that people feel like they extra spiritual if they go without food, and that's fine. I mean, I think it's good to go without food to give your body a break, right? To clear out your body. Because even if some of the healthiest foods, you can still have a lot of stuff in your body. Even when you eat what you believe to be some of the healthiest food, you can still have stuff in your body that need to be cleansed out. That's why people get colonics. Okay, so I think that is a main purpose of fasting right there, is to clean yourself out. But when you talk about really spiritually getting closer to self, it's best to cut off that radio, cut off that TV, cut off YouTube, unless you're looking at something that's uplifting you, that's helping you get closer to your true self. Other than that, like say for the blogs, why even we don't need to hear what Cardi B is doing with this guy she married to. I forget who he is. But who cares? Why do we need to hear about Cardi B? See, that's what I'm saying right there. We don't need to hear about Cardi B and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying, cutting off media. But anyway, so, and what it does, like I said earlier, because I'm about to go, is that it messes with the matrix. It crashes the system, because brown women is like, a lot of people draw energy from brown women. That's why brown women are always under attack. You know, because people draw energy. People want to make brown women mad. And then brown women, because I feel like most brown women in the United States of America have a lot of spirits on them, and they are in a sunken place. And I'm not saying that to judge brown women. I'm talking about what I have seen in dreams and visions and during meditation. I'm talking, and what keeps happening with me, and what I have to keep fighting every day. This is what I'm talking about. This ain't got nothing to do with me judging nobody. This is what I experience every day, and I can tell you that most brown women could be in that sunken place, and and that's why brown women keep getting upset. And you keep telling brown women it almost frustrates me more. It almost frustrates me more when I see some other women get online and they want to keep telling brown women the same thing over and over again. Brown women, I keep telling you to be careful about these men. Brown women, I keep telling you, well, they say black, but I'm just going to say brown. And brown woman, I keep telling you to do this. Brown woman, clearly something else is going on with them, because if you keep telling them not to go march and fight a man's battle, if you keep telling them to be careful and choose wisely when it comes to a mate, regardless of race, because I ain't into all that white boy, Hispanic, whoever treats you the best. But then again, the most of the time the messages are put out there that whoever just treats you right, for the most part, okay? It's not about just constantly beating them over the head, telling them the same thing, and trying to throw other groups of men in their faces and tell them, you need to date this man. And then when brown women don't appear to be listening, then you got to keep repeating yourself and repeating yourself and repeating yourself. And it's like, if brown women keep doing things that are against their good, that's against their own good, and they keep self-sabotaging themselves, and then it's time to look at what's spiritually going on with brown women. And there is something spiritually going on with brown women. So it's like, I get annoyed sometimes when these other women that call themselves, I'm just trying to help, they say black. I'm just trying to help black women. Well, why you keep repeating yourself? Why can't you see that clearly if brown women, but they will say black, clearly if black women are that self-sabotaging, maybe you need to look at some spiritual aspects here. Something is going on spiritually. A group of people that's self-sabotaging, that's a possession. That's a group of people that's possessed. And that's why they can't hear a word you saying, because they ain't there. And I get annoyed more than brown women. I get annoyed that people keep repeating themselves and trying to yell at brown women, trying to get them to do what they want them to do. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm going to end this by saying yeah. And I know this is going to be hard to do, because as much as most of us, because I'm not perfect either, so I'm not going to act like I'm perfect talking here. As much as most of us get tired of what we see going on, and sometimes we get sick of our lives and we want something different, as much as most of us like to say, we are not willing to do what it takes to have what we want. And it's good to own a business, it's good to get money, but the bottom line is, I don't care if you're Candy Bars, I don't care if you're Beyonce. Beyonce, I don't think is treated well, okay? I get that she's a megastar, but I don't feel like she's treated well. Not when it comes to her being a brown woman, I don't feel like she is. Because she's still a brown woman, and she still is going to carry a stereotype regardless of what she accomplished. Beyonce done accomplished more than a lot of white women accomplished, but guess what? She's a brown lady. So this matrix is still ugly to her type too. Even though she got way more than most of us, she got way more than most of us. Material-wise, she does, not spiritually. Spiritually, I think Beyonce is bankrupt. I'm just saying. Because of she is in Hollywood, and you just can't get to a certain level without giving up something. So spiritually, I do believe Beyonce is bankrupt. Not as a judgment, because it's just like you have to give up certain things to get what you want, and that's just the bottom line. Ain't got nothing to do with me pointing no finger at her. It's just about that's how things kind of go. So spiritually, a lot of us might be wealthier than her, but materially she is wealthier than us, material-wise, but spiritually a lot of us might have more than she got. Okay. But the point is that even the image that Beyonce was supposed to have, even though she was with that bad boy Jay-Z, she still had a certain image about herself where she was kind of clean. Even though she was with that Jay-Z, she still had a good girl kind of image about herself. But even with that, she is lower than the trashiest white women according to society. And to bring it home, for real this time, like for real. And Whitney Houston and Halle Berry. It's like, we gotta find something to tear them down as brown women. I don't know about Halle Berry, but like Whitney Houston and all these other people, like you gotta find something going on with them. And as much as they accomplish in life, they are still not seen in a higher light than the trashiest white woman. Because that's how this matrix goes. I don't care what the brown woman accomplishes. She is going to be at the bottom of the totem pole, even if she's a billionaire. Even if she's Oprah. Because nobody cares if you're sweet. Okay? They care about status. They care about money. So that's why I'm bringing up people who got material stuff. But see, so those women with material still can't get on the level of the trashiest white women when it comes to this society. And so to say that, I feel like it would be a great idea if most brown women in the United States alone, because honestly, the brown woman that's a native of the United States, meaning that she has a bloodline in the United States of America, okay, before slavery. The brown woman that's a native of the United States is treated horribly, regardless of what she tries to accomplish in her life. She has to be seen as a baby mama with 15 kids, even if she never even given birth, even if she never been pregnant. Media wants to put that stereotype on her no matter how hard she works. Media does that. Okay? And I feel like this matrix, this system, no longer deserves the brown women's energy, especially the natives to the United States of America. This matrix no longer deserve your energy. Africans either. African women either. But the reason I'm talking about brown women in the United States of America is because it seems like even though African women can be treated bad, they're not getting this stereotype put on them as having 15 million, 20 kids on welfare. Like every single brown woman in the United States have to carry that stereotype. Even if, like me, I don't know what it's like to be pregnant. I have no idea. But guess what? The society is going to want to put that stereotype on me because that's the stereotype they want the brown woman in the United States to have, even if you don't even know what it's like to be pregnant. But they're not going to put that on the African woman that comes from Africa to America. They're not going to give her that stereotype. So even if they look at her a certain way because she's dark skinned, they're not going to put that welfare 15 children baby mama stereotype on her. Like they would do the brown woman that's a native to the United States of America. So they're treating the brown woman in the United States of America worse than any other brown woman around the world. And I say this, I'm for real this time, I'm gone, I'm for real. I would really like, for myself, but if you guys got the means and the financial means to do it, take 2 days out the week to don't give any attention to this matrix, to this system. Because you are the ones that they need the energy from. You are the ones they're taking energy from. And if you take 2 days out the week, you can eat. I already talked about eating food and versus watching looking at media. But if you can take 2 days out the week to just cancel all of the anything that does not enhance you, and cancel it for 2 days out the week, even on the radio, even the news, just take 2 days out the week to cancel it. That's going to raise your consciousness. That is going to raise your consciousness. It ain't about what's going in somebody's pockets. That's root chakra thinking. I don't care about no material world. That when you take 2 days out the week, even if they days to back to back, even better back to back. Because if you take Tuesday, that'll raise Wednesday, you got back in the matrix. Thursday, you get back in the matrix. So Friday is almost like you're starting over again. So actually, if you can do 2 days back to back, that's even better. It raises your consciousness. You're going to crash the matrix. You're going to crash the matrix. You're going to end this system that treats brown women in the United States of America like shit, like trash. You're going to crash it. You don't owe this system no more. I mean, it's great to get a business and get money, and do your thing. But what you're doing is good that you're comfortable in this holographic or virtual reality, whatever you want to call it. It's good to be comfortable. I want to be comfortable too. But at the same time, they have a caste system, and the brown women, specifically that's native to the United States of America, is lower than the African woman. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's not just brown women all over the world. Yeah, brown women all over the world, brown people all over the world treated badly. But that brown woman in the United States of America is at the very lowest of the totem pole, because I've never seen nobody else, no other brown woman around the world have the negative stereotype put on them the way the brown women in the United States of America have this negative stereotype forced on her, even if she got 15 degrees and making 7 figures a year and no kids. But what if she got 1 child? What's wrong with that? But no kids, that negative stereotype is going to be forced on her regardless, because that is what this system is about. Tearing down certain people, making sure certain people is at the very bottom, no matter what you accomplish. So that's why I got passionate in my last upload about stop trying to tell somebody else how to act because it's making you look bad. Because the bottom line is that the media does that on purpose. It's plenty of brown women they can put on media and give her a platform, and it'll raise the It'll raise the status of brown women around the world. They don't want to do that. They want to focus on the lowest of the lowest. But then check this out, though, because this is interesting what somebody said. They want to make all brown women be ghetto and from the projects and focus on the ghetto brown women. But it seems like everybody around the world, whether it's a transsexual, a transgender, white, Latino, it seems like they all try to copy off this ghetto brown women. When you see a lot of people that's transgender, white, Asian, black, when they transgender, it seems like they always want to mimic this ghetto black woman, but yet they tear her down and tell her not to be who she is. But then you get all these people around the world that's going to mimic her behavior and get paid off of it while they tear her down. It's time to no longer give energy. And if you got enough money to take a week off and get to know your true self, connect with your soul, please do it if you got the money. I beg you, if you got the money, please do it, because I would. Because you're going to tear down this doggone matrix. They treat them brown women badly. It ain't about what the black man is saying. I don't care what he's saying, because the matrix is making sure they tear his butt hand down too. Every time you look up, you got a black man. They showing a black man beating on the Asian. They show a black man getting assaulted by police. They show a black man just committing crimes. When I'm in Atlanta and when I used to look at the news, all I ever saw was black men committing crimes. They tearing his butt down too. Okay, so I don't worry about what they saying, because media does a number on them. Media is actually worse to black men than they are to black women, honestly, because they make him look like a criminal. Every chance they get, they make him look like a criminal. And I've seen a lot of decent black men that ain't no doggone criminal, but that's what the media want to put out there. And this is not about taking up for nobody. I'm just saying. So I ain't worried about what they say online on YouTube. Because honestly, nobody really values what they have to say, because when the media says they sight on tearing you down, then they lower your value anyway, and nobody's listening to you. Nobody's really listening to the black man. You got women that want to compete against black women. So it appears like they got all these white women and these Latino women on their side, but really those women are competing against black women. So it's not that they value what black men got to say. They are just in competition with so-called black women or brown women. That's what that's about. It ain't got shit to do with them caring about what the black man has to say. So even once again, his word is not that important to be worried about what he's doing on YouTube. That's why I don't care about no Kevin Samuels. They ain't important. The media tears them up every chance they get. Okay, but yeah, if you can afford to take a week, and I know that's hard if you don't have your eyes on like Tasha K's and not I don't watch Tasha K, so I ain't putting her down. I'm just saying like the celebrity gossip, and she's like a kind of a growing, even though she's being sued, her name is still her name still comes up a lot, even when people don't even look at that stuff. You hear her name. So, the Tasha K's and all these other people that's popular, you're nothing against them. But what I'm saying, though, is that, it's going to be hard if you're used to watching that stuff. But this Matrix, and maybe it's because I haven't had my attention on that kind of stuff for so long, I've had enough of how this Matrix is treating brown women. I just had enough of it. Really, I'm going to have to do what I have to do anyway for myself. So that's just going to have to happen regardless. But what I am suggesting to other brown women is that if you can help it, if you can afford it, especially if you ain't got to give your energy to work and jobs and stuff, take a day or two out the week to take your energy out this doggone matrix, to get out this doggone matrix. Take a day or two to yourself and raise your consciousness and see what happens. See what happens. Because they want to keep devaluing you. See what happens. But anyway, with that being said, I'll talk to you later.